Okay, so we are back. नमस्ते डियर ऊनो कॉइनर्स एंड एक बार फिर आप सभी का स्वागत है ऊनो कॉइन के एक और ईएमए सेशन में विच इज ऑन अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक Web3 and the opportunities that we get in this particular dunya. So guys, talking about Web3, it's a very vast place where you can explore. It's an advanced version of internet and so many more things. And of course, I can't tell you because I'm your host and we'll be having a very special guest today for this particular session. And I would like the backend team to now please get him on. Yeah, yeah. So we have our very special guest today for this particular AMA on Web3 and the opportunities we get in this. Pranav Maheshwari, our very own expert in this field, and I think Pranav has got this very extensive knowledge. He's also been hosting this show called Web3 Ki Duniya with, I think, a very famous personality again, Kashif Raza. So that is again a very interesting part. So I think what all questions you have, Web3 को लेकर के, Web3 में opportunities को लेकर के, you can drop them in the comment section today, and you can get your answers from the subject matter expert himself. Hi Pranav, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing really well. And basically, just adding to what you said, I co-host a very popular and a known show in Web3 known as Web3 की दुनिया, जिसके अंदर हम most detailed and complex topics in Web3 को discuss करते हैं. Mostly Web3 is a technology paradigm, not just, something in which people just buy something, they trade on it without fundamentals. There are a lot of fundamental technical values associated to it. So we discuss that in that particular show. काफी technical deep dive करते हैं हम हर particular topic पे. Concerns भी दिखाते हैं, advancements भी दिखाते हैं. It's a mix of all the worlds. That's that. Other than that, I am also an engineer. I'm a senior engineer at the Graph protocol, which is indexing blockchain data around the world, and it is I think one of the only or the only pioneer organization in Web3 which is indexing information in those senses. Before that, I used to work for Polygon. So yeah, I've had a good amount of experience knowing and understanding the industry. I won't say I'm a subject matter expert, but I would say I do have a glance of what are the different things that Web3 holds for everybody and how they can capture towards it. It's not just about assets. It's not just about getting rich. It's rather about making the next move in the internet, because technology always keeps on advancing. We need to do that so that the world keeps progressing, and I think it is the next step towards the technological revolution called internet. So yeah, happy to share whatever I have known through, and happy to learn whatever you guys have been going through in Web3.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's just your modesty, given what all you just told. I think that's an expert level. If that's not, then I don't know what is. So, Pranav, here we have already started receiving comments in the comment section. Ara Touch is saying hello, sir. So, it's a warm welcome
Right.
to you.
Yeah.
So, before getting started, Pranav, we have this thing which we do with all the speakers that we get on our show, all the guest speakers. We always like to learn stories, because crypto is very new and not everybody has yet come to this space, Web3 crypto. And it's very interesting to know the stories. So, आपकी क्या कहानी है कि जब आप ये Web3 में
Yeah.
एक्सप्लोर किया तो वो कैसे
Uh,
start हुआ?
so I always believe that a particular technological revolution that happens in general, right, is never meant to be. अगर कोई बोले कि मुझे पता था ये इंडस्ट्री इतनी बड़ी होगी और इसके अंदर I can do things, that's totally joking around and working towards. Normally कोई भी revolution होता है, it would be steam engine revolution या फिर .com revolution या फिर AI revolution या अभी जो हो रहा है Web3 revolution, जो भी होता है उसके अंदर जो भी venture out करते हैं, जो initial believers होते हैं, they are all the people जिनको नकारा जाता है इधर उधर से. उसके बाद they develop a cult among themselves. It's kind of a community that they develop amongst themselves. They are the ones who are challenging and questioning every bit of what exists in general, how they can make the future advancements. So I would say, when I was a bit younger than what I am right now, you are always as immature as you can, and you are always a revolutionary in a lot of senses. आपको लगता I used to keep challenging the world. यार ये जो कर रहे हैं ना ये सब गलत है. जब हम power में आएंगे ना तो हम पूरी सत्ता पलट देंगे. But that never happens. However, that revolution on the internet that I was seeing always led me to really understand the whole concept of Web3 and blockchains. And to be honest, the reason why I stayed around for like about now I think 6 years is because I did not like buy my first crypto. I rather earned my first crypto.
Oh.
All right. So the interesting story is that I normally was, trying to be as employable as I could, but could not get into the realms of full stack web development, whatnot. It was very, very like for me, it was like just boilerplate code in which a developer just writes something, then it ships to a US organization. Nothing innovative, nothing new that came along, and I was pretty bored. So I was mostly spending all my time in Bangalore, running through different like pubs and places around the place, that particular place, because Bangalore is known for that, other than weather and traffic. So and what I used to do with my free time, that was on Saturdays and Sundays, I used to hunt for bounties, right? Basically go in different hackathons. वहाँ पे जाके I used to just write code, run code, and try to win some kind of a bounty, meet some interesting people, so I could really venture on something. So actually I was on an exploration path, थिंकिंग थ्रू कि जो मैं कर रहा हूँ वो सही है, बाकी सब जो कर रहे हैं वो पूरी तरह से गलत है. एवरीथिंग इज नॉनसेंस अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. डेफिनेटली दैट वाज नॉट ट्रू. हाउएवर, while exploring this particular part, I came to know about a particular hackathon known as ETH India, right? And that particular hackathon got really got me really interested in it. And the reason behind that was not that I was an expert in blockchain or I understood Web3 or I knew that this industry is going to be very much forward, but rather because that hackathon had the first prize of 70,000 rupees, which is like crazy for me. Oh wow, that could be 3 months of rents and a lot of good party vibes around. So I got into the ETH India 1.0 hackathon that was organized by Deffolio at that point in time, and I came for the prize, but I stayed for the vibes because the vibe around that particular hackathon was totally different. The people over there were trying to again challenge the current ecosystem and surroundings, just like what I was doing. They believed that the current phase of internet was totally wrong, just like what I thought. And most of them were as unemployable as me because they used to wear shorts and t-shirts. So, so that's how I got into Web3. And after that particular hackathon, I joined a particular organization known as Towards Blockchain. At that time, they were trying to create a multi-sig wallet. I think the only organization in India that was trying to do something in Web3, which was fruitful, right? It was an ICO. There were ICO eras and tokens and, the people minting money and then just running out. And then there were people like these who were trying to create something very meaningful. I think it was Matic and Towards Blockchain, which was trying to do that. I worked at Towards Blockchain, and the person I reported to, again, was an outlierish person. He never used to sleep, never used to let me sleep, never used to let me date somebody, never used to let me go around and just keep on coding, keep on understanding the realms. And at that time it was tough because there was no developer community and the markets had all gone down. So our revolution was trunking around and people thought that will this ever exist? Was Ethereum a bubble? Was Bitcoin a bubble? And is the technology just fade around to make people poor and stuff like that? But I still kept on working on it because I understood the fundamentals because of that particular person I used to report to. And the community or the niche that we created around that really made me really bullish on the technology itself, because all my friends were blockchain guys. All my people who I surrounded with, even my roommate, even my taxi mate, even my office mates, everybody and every party that I only used to have people who believed in the blockchain ecosystem, and that's how I got into this. And luckily I survived.
I think it's not about survival. You got in the space at a very great time, I would say, because I think each time we have an external speaker, we talk about these things. तो मेरा एक फीलिंग जो है ना, नॉट जस्ट एक्सटर्नल स्पीकर, हमारे सीईओ और प्रेसिडेंट के साथ भी जब हम ये इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, तो मेरा एक बड़ा कांस्टेंट फीलिंग है कि मैं जल्दी, मतलब मैं कहाँ थी उस टाइम पे जब ये सब चल रहा था. ऑफ कोर्स आई वाज लाइक वेट, वी आर डूइंग समथिंग ऑन माय ओन एंड Yeah, but now that
Mhm.
I'm in there, I feel the potential, I feel the energy and the enthusiasm, of course, that you were talking with about this whole thing
Yeah.
actually makes you feel and believe in the potential of this whole thing. So, when we talk about opportunities, Pranav, what potential sectors in India do you think can benefit from Web3 technologies?
Mhm. Definitely. So, like, just expanding on that, there are opportunities for individuals, and there is an opportunity for the whole nation, or in general, for the whole human mankind that we can see, right? Normally, whenever there is a revolution, there are, like, three kinds of ecosystem that a revolution comes into. It could be like, there is a language in the world. I forgot the name. It's called Esplande, right? Esplande. That's a language, and it's a language created for people who really believe in that particular ecosystem. It's not a country-specific language, just a language, but it's a very niche group of people who want to learn and communicate with each other. It's a very niche community around that particular thing, right? That's one kind of ecosystem that can be created around that, right? And Web3 has definitely surpassed that kind of niche. And then the second niche is like, it makes you efficient, the human mankind efficient in a little bit all around the place, and helps you around kind of niche. And the third is that it revolutionizes the way we communicate, the way we talk, the way we do everything. I think the Web3 ecosystem right now is in the middle of understanding whether it will help humanity, or whether it will change humanity, right? And those are the two kind of like ways I think we can think about it. The first way is that if Web3 changes, or like help the human ecosystem, then maybe what good opportunities could be that you could get a job in Web3, and try to figure out this niche and make your own thing. And if it changes the whole way, the way you the human mankind behaves, then there are a lot of entrepreneurial things that can happen. Just imagine 1990s में आपको कोई ले जाए और बोले कि ये कंप्यूटर टाइप की चीज सीख लो, कोडिंग सीख लो, इसके ऊपर वेबसाइट बना लो और अपनी चीजें करो. It's something similar. But the thing is, you always have to bet around the future, right? You can never bet on the present and be known. You always have to bet on the future and understand things. When you are early, then it's an opportunity. If you're not early, you're just around the race. And that's where, all the alpha, all the initial community, all the vibe goes away, right? I would say इंटरनेट अगर आप 1990s में जानते थे, तो शायद ऐसा हो सकता था कि सी प्लस प्लस फाउंडर आपको जानता हो, राइट? दैट बट अगर आप अभी सी प्लस प्लस में कोड करते हो, तो आपके जैसे 1 करोड़ 10 लाख विद्यार्थी हर हर साल सी प्लस प्लस पढ़ के कुछ नहीं करते इंडियन इंडियन इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस के अंदर, राइट? सो that's where the alpha lies. The opportunity lies in being early, and that's where a lot of good things can be created. And it's not just for an individual, it's also for a region or a nation state. And when I talk to you around that, just imagine the first country to ever have regulations and promote internet and those kind of technologies was USA, right? And you can see the way it has grown in terms of the startup ecosystem and things like that. India was pretty late to adapt to computers in itself. There were people in India who thought कि अगर कंप्यूटर आ जाएंगे तो लोगों की जॉब चली जाएगी, तो कंप्यूटर को रखो ही मत. That's never how it works. The jobs always remain the same. It's rather more technical, more advanced in a lot of natures, right? So if a particular nation states understand the potentials of technology, then there are no barriers to what that particular technology can do to that particular nation states people and the ecosystem around it. So there are always good things about the technology, there are always bad things about the technology, because it's early, right? People are still trying to figure it out. .com बबल के बाद अगर इंटरनेट ने लोगों ने इंटरनेट को स्कैम बोल दिया होता और इंटरनेट को खत्म कर दिया होता, तो आज आप और मैं बात नहीं कर पाते, राइट? That could never have happened. And the kind of efficiency the human race is able to go through, वो नहीं हो पाती. There were always bad things and bad players, but the people who really believed in the ecosystem and worked for its fruitioning are the people who the people, जैसा कि एक particular philosopher बोलते हैं, the person who plays the infinite war never loses, might not win but never loses, is something that is the name of the game of any innovative technology. .com के साथ भी ऐसा ही हुआ था, I think AI के साथ भी ऐसा ही हुआ है, and I think Web3 के साथ भी ऐसा ही होगा, that the always play an infinite game. Don't be here to make money and then go away. Be here to understand and live the revolution that we are coming up with. And I think that is very much round the corner for everybody. So the opportunities, the like the जो जिस topic पे आपने मुझे बोलने के लिए बुलाया वो बहुत ही vast है यार. The thing is, you can do so many things being an individual in Web3, and you can do so many things around the nation state being in Web3, because it's an early stage. There are always good parts, there are always bad parts. Focus on the good while try to stop or regulate the bad.
आई थिंक आई 100% एग्री विथ यू प्रणव ऑन दिस. मतलब मैंने हाल में एक ये क्लिप देखी थी जिसमें हमारे लोकसभा में एक काफी अच्छी एमपी थी, प्रियंका उनका नाम है, वो इस बारे में बात कर रही थी कि जब कंप्यूटर हमारे देश में आ रहा था और एक ये रेजिस्टेंस का एटीट्यूड था बाय द पीपल इन अथॉरिटी, ये बोला जा रहा था कि जॉब्स नहीं होंगी. आज इंडिया इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट आईटी सेक्टर. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट बैंगलोर, इट्स लिटरली कॉल्ड द सिलिकॉन वैली ऑफ इंडिया फॉर अ रीजन. तो अगर हम इस हिसाब से देखें तो इंजीनियर्स तो बहुत प्रोड्यूस हुए, और खैर इस फील्ड में जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज लोगों के लिए बहुत बनी है.
Yeah, of course.
सेम इज द केस विद Web3 itself. मतलब अगर मैं Web3 जितना मैं समझती हूँ, क्योंकि of course you would know much more than me on this.
No.
तो जितना मैं समझती हूँ ये एक इतना एडवांस वर्जन है टेक्नोलॉजी का जो आपको कंट्रोल देता है अपनी चीजों का, जो कि हमको आज तक किसी टेक्नोलॉजी ने प्रोबेबली दिया नहीं है, किसी टेक्नोलॉजी या गवर्नमेंट या किसी एंटिटी ने नहीं दिया है. तो वो जो एक कंट्रोल का फीलिंग है कि यू हैव द से इन योर ओन मैटर्स, तो वो एक बहुत ही पोटेंशियल पार्ट है. सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट Web3 in general a little, if you had to explain, because I'm sure a lot of our users might not be very well versed with the concept. So if you could just explain it in a little bit, what is Web3?
That's a very fundamental question. I've not answered in for a very long time. मैं अगर there are a lot of analogies to actually explain Web3, right? But I would rather take a U-turn to tell you that right now the internet that you work on is not owned by you, but rather owned by the people that run that particular internet, and they have all the say on what you think, what you post, and how you feel about it. That's pretty bad, because that can actually change a lot of things in the world. For example, when there was a campaign, a US campaign for Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, the Facebook, and there are a lot of places where people actually came to know after a lot of बहुत सारे खुलासे के बाद लोगों को पता चला था कि Facebook in general was not publicly neutral as an internet ecosystem, and internet is never neutral. It was rather favoring Donald Trump, and that actually sculpted how people in United States think, and that kind of thing is not something that can be accepted by something which is going to be the core of the future, right? हम कुछ भी करेंगे तो वो इंटरनेट पे करेंगे. अगर हम इंटरनेट को किसी और की ओनरशिप में दे देंगे तो then it's not possible for all of us to actually believe on it, and that's where Web3 comes in. It's rather not you owning that particular internet, rather everybody in that particular, not you or me or the person who created a particular application or alpha or the network owns the internet. It is rather owned by the people who actually go and interact with it. एक simple example अगर मैं दूं तो आपको पता होगा Swift एक network है, right, which operates in which you have money and you can transfer it here and there using internet to different countries, right? And Russia right now is out of that particular Swift system. I would not say if it is good or bad, but that makes internet political. What that means is that अगर आप Russian हो तो आप पैसे इधर से उधर ट्रांसफर नहीं कर सकते हो, आपकी गलती हो ना हो. इतने साल आपने फेसबुक पर दिए, इतने सारे you might all know Russian influencers on Instagram and stuff like that. They are banned from using all these things in general. That means that you don't own that part of the piece. It's just like you are a renter on the internet, and you can either any day be thrown out. On the other hand, बहुत सारे लोगों ने, आपको पता होगा अभी बहुत सारे लोगों ने यूक्रेन को फंड किया वॉर लड़ने के लिए. सिमिलरली बहुत सारे लोगों ने रशिया को फंड किया वॉर लड़ने के लिए, एंड दैट वाज थ्रू बिटकॉइन. एंड द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट इज that Bitcoin is totally apolitical. What that means is that nobody in the world, including the most biggest power in the world, can censor or control that particular network. अगर आपको लगता है कि रशिया सही है तो आप जाके रशिया को फंड करो, अगर आपको लगता है यूक्रेन सही है तो उसको जाके फंड करो. बहुत सारे लोग जो रशिया में है, जो काम करते हैं रशिया में एज फ्रीलांसर्स, दे गेट देयर पेमेंट्स इन बिटकॉइन बिकॉज एज a human you don't you are not you can be political, but the platforms you interact with should be credibly neutral. And that's where the whole game changes from being the internet of ownership, the internet of being owned, to the internet of ownership. Web 2 is the internet of being owned. यानी कि आप बस जाओ वहां पे काम करो अपना, you do your thing, get your no, what is it called in a lot of senses, your boost, your they're like, oh, I'm on internet, I have posted something, it's going crazy and stuff like that, to being a part of governing it. For example, there is one more good example that I give everybody, जिसको मैं web3 समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि अगर आप अभी YouTube पे हो, आपने 200 के सब्सक्राइबर्स उस पर बना लिए 3 साल काम करने के बाद उसके ऊपर, you worked yourself and YouTube earned because of you. You have no say in the way YouTube pays you. जो भी वो देता है आपको रखना पड़ता है. ऐसा हो सकता है 5 साल बाद ऐसा हो कि आपको YouTube पैसे देना बंद कर दे. It's just a broadcasting platform. It's like, you do what you want. So the pay script of YouTube is not controlled by you, is rather a profitable business for Google, and the board of Google is 13 people. So they think about their profits, their share profits. They don't think about the subscriber profits. And that's where the whole anomaly comes कि हमें एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म चाहिए जिसको अगर हम टाइम दे रहे हैं तो वो हमारे कंट्रोल में रहे. इट्स नॉट कंट्रोल्ड बाय the shareholders, or not controlled by the board members of a particular organization who are maximizing on profits, but rather controlled by community members who are maximizing on community contribution. And you would see YouTube would be a much better place for people and much more sustainable in a lot of senses. And that's where Web3 comes in. I would say Web3 is the sustainable internet, which I believe will be the future of how human mankind interacts on the network.
I think 100% true. And even talking about, okay, so we have a couple of comments here. Oh, okay. So we'll take all of your comments. Just one little bit which I want to say. When we talk about these stuff, Pranav, control part, जहाँ पे हम बात करते हैं कि चीजें हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, तो उस पर मुझे अभी ये रिसेंट का इंसिडेंट थोड़ा दिमाग में आता है, जब हमारे 2000 रुपए के नोट को डीमोनेटाइज करने की खबर आई. सो इट्स लाइक एक दिन वो पैसा है, अगले दिन वो कागज का टुकड़ा है. तो ये एक जो चीज है जो हमारे भी कंट्रोल में नहीं है. अब मान लो खैर इसके भी गवर्नमेंट के पास अपने कारण है ये करने के, बट अगर यही चीज बिटकॉइन में है, यही चीज किसी क्रिप्टो करेंसी में है, सो देयर इज नो डीमोनेटाइजेशन एंड इट मेक्स सो मच मोर सेंस फॉर द अपकमिंग जनरेशंस, द करेंट जनरेशंस. एंड आई फील लाइक इट्स अ वेरी, इट हैज इमेंस यूज केस फॉर फ्यूचर. Web3 की बात करें तो we right now play games like on PS5, on Xbox and all those things. Coming days mein metaverse is going to be the play spot for most gamers, I think, and it has already become very widely adopted place to for gaming and stuff, and it's very interesting of how people are exploring this entire thing. Okay, so we'll quickly take the next comment by Norman Gujjar. He's saying hi to you, obviously not to me. So Malika Arjun here is asking, sir, you said about risk. What are the risks associated with Web3? Okay, interesting. So what are the risks associated, Pranav, when we talk about Web3?
So the thing is, as I was talking, कोई भी cutting edge innovation जो होता है उसमें there are bad players and there are good players, and it's very easy to scam when it's a cutting edge innovation, because there are people who will just talk about the innovation and not do it, and you would just put your money in that. It's like फेंकने वाले बहुत मिलेंगे Web3 में. So that does not mean that the whole ecosystem is totally wrong, right? There was a FTX saga that happened in Web3 very recently, and that was something which was bad, but that does not reflect of what Web3 stands for, right? The reason why it's easier right now in Web3 to scam is maybe first of all because it's a very cutting edge technology in which there is no regulation, or the regulation is pretty limited, and that's why there are no particular laws that are being made or created right now, और वो create हो भी नहीं सकते हैं क्योंकि it's we are at a world very very early stage, and that's why लोगों को अपना खुद का ड्यू डिलिजेंस करना पड़ता है कोई भी चीज को करने या नहीं करने से पहले। आप सोचो जब 1950s में जब इंडिया ने स्टॉक मार्केट लॉन्च किया था अपने खुद के लिए, तब ऑलरेडी स्टॉक मार्केट्स एग्जिस्ट करते थे, बट फिर भी Indian mentality के हिसाब से the SEBI had to be formed, had to understand and keep on tweaking the rules until retail was not always dumped on or was always scammed and stuff like that. उसके बीच में इतने सारे scams हुए, तो उससे क्या हमने Indian market को scam समझ लिया? नहीं. There is always Tata that existed that made Indian market always big, right? There are always good people and actors who make a particular industry grow, and there are bad people who make the industry defamed. हमें normally defamed चीजें दिखती हैं, और उसका reason ये है कि अगर मैं कुछ अच्छा काम करूंगा ना तो शायद आप नहीं देखोगे, अगर मैं बुरा काम करूंगा तो आप ट्वीट करोगे उसके बारे में। that's how humans really work through, and media normally जो देखती है वो बुरा पार्ट देखती है। that मैंने इतनी बार 2000 जब से मैं हूँ यहाँ पे 2017 के अंदर, तब से मैं हूँ, जब से मैंने क्रिप्टो को देखा है, दैट हर दूसरे या तीसरे दिन या चौथे दिन कोई ना कोई न्यूज आर्टिकल इन द वर्ल्ड पब्लिशेस, is it over for Bitcoin, is it over for Web3, right? And it never gets over, and the reason behind that is the person who is writing that has never coded in his life of what Web3 stands for, and that's the whole difference. So of course there are a lot of scams that can happen, and right now what they can happen is that we lack a lot of regulation, and that's okay. Things will evolve as they go. You have to do your own diligence when you are getting in. अगर आप वेबसाइट 1990s में चलाते थे तो मतलब आपके पास कंप्यूटर है, आपको समझ आता है कि इंटरनेट कैसे चलता है, तो आपको थोड़ा सा खुद की रिस्क के ऊपर काम करना पड़ेगा। बट जब चीजें इवॉल्व होती हैं तब रेगुलेशन आता है, जब ज्यादा मासेस के पास वो चीज पहुंचती है तब ऑलरेडी उस चीज में मेच्योरिटी आती है, रेगुलेशन आता है। बट जैसा कि मैंने बोला था कि इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप इस चीज से दूर रहो, राइट? द alpha always lies in being early, and I've experienced that myself. The alpha always lies in being the earliest in what you're doing. So keep that in mind. Of course there are challenges that we have, but and one of the reasons is that commercialization फाइनेंशियलाइजेशन बहुत आसान है यार क्रिप्टो के अंदर। मैंने आज अपना प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च किया, बड़ी बड़ी बातें करी और टोकन लॉन्च कर दिया। उसके बाद मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं, उस टोकन को खरीद के किसी और एक्सचेंज पे डाल के उसको डंप कर दिया, एंड द पीपल जिसने रिटेल ने उसको खरीदा था कुछ उम्मीदों से कि यूटिलिटी आएगी उस टोकन की, they are doomed on it, right? That's very very easy, and that has happened in the past, that has happened in the present, and that keeps on happening. But जैसा कि मैंने बोला, if you are a 1990s kid on the internet, right, there will be a lot of Ponzi schemes that are put to you, but अगर आप 1990s में इंटरनेट चला रहे हो तो आप स्मार्ट इनफ हो कि आप अपना ड्यू डिलिजेंस करो और उसके ऊपर अपना काम करो, क्योंकि रेगुलेशन में टाइम लगेगा। And it is not it's not bad to be early in a particular technology. It's always much much better, right? So as I always say, stay away from scams, but alpha lies in being early.
Yeah, I think 100% stay away from scam, guys. और उसका सबसे बड़ा मंत्र है do your own research, DYOR. It's a very famous slang in the whole Web3 part, and अपनी रिसर्च करना बहुत जरूरी है ताकि आपको समझ में आए कि ये पूरी चीज जो है वो कैसे समझनी है। ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है कि समझना कैसे, वो भी समझना बहुत जरूरी होता है। तो अगर आपको इसमें कुछ असिस्टेंस चाहिए तो हमारे यूनोकॉइन के यूट्यूब चैनल पे भी आप मल्टीपल वीडियोस जो आपको रिसर्च करने के लिए प्रॉपर तरीके बताएगी, और उन वीडियोस में मैं ही हूँ, तो आप जाके दे सकते हो अच्छे से वहां पे। बाकी अगर आपके और कोई क्वेश्चंस हो, विल लव टू टेक देम, लाइक वी हैव by so many people over here. Okay, so Malika Arjun has another question, Pranav. He's asking, why did cryptocurrency join a rock band in Web3 while NFT refused to play cards? That's a भयंकर question, but
नहीं, ये मेरे को समझ नहीं आया क्वेश्चन. व्हाई डिड द क्रिप्टो करेंसी जॉइन अ रॉक बैंड इन वेब3? इसका क्या मतलब है? ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ
हाँ,
यार.
आई
अगर
थिंक
हो रहा है
अर्जुन
फिर.
थोड़ा आप क्लैरिफाई कर सकते हो क्योंकि मुझे भी ये थोड़ा कंप्रीहेंड करने में परेशानी हो रही है. बाकी आपका अगला क्वेश्चन हम तब से लेते हैं. तो मल्लिका अर्जुन का अगला क्वेश्चन है, क्या एआई वेब3 को पीछे छोड़ देगा?
It's like, okay, this is okay. I'll tell you. Uh, मैं ना एक एनालॉजी फाइंड करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ इसके अंदर. तो ऐसा, द थिंग इज दैट दे आर बोथ टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिवॉल्यूशन, राइट? दे कैन, इट कैन नॉट बी कि एक चीज दूसरे को पीछा छोड़ देगी. It's like they complement each other in all the ways possible, right? So there is no comparison. They are rather technological evolutions that will go hand in hand and work towards a better internet of the future. So the thing is that अभी तक ऐसा हुआ है कि यार but you know, you're right. अभी तक ऐसा हुआ था कि 2018 के अंदर एआई का बूम आया था, तब क्रिप्टो बर्स्ट हो गया था. फिर 2020 के अंदर क्रिप्टो का बूम आया तो एआई बर्स्ट हो गया. अब वापस 2022 लाइक यू नो 23 की स्टार्टिंग में जब एआई का बूम आया तो लाइक देयर आर इश्यूज दैट क्रिप्टो हैज हैड. और ये दोनों सिर्फ और सिर्फ कोइंसिडेंस है. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि एक चीज बढ़ेगी तो दूसरी चीज घटेगी. इट्स रादर दैट यू नो both of them are complements to each other. It's just that you know, one is happening on the other because of coincidence. But इन जनरल अगर हमें बेटर इंटरनेट चाहिए तो उसके लिए अच्छा प्रिडिक्टेबल मॉडल चाहिएगा इंटरनेट का. वो हमने एआई के थ्रू हम उसे यू नो डिफाइन कर चाहिए. तो हमें उसमें ट्रस्टेबिलिटी भी चाहिए, ट्रस्टलेसनेस भी चाहिए, मनी ऑफ द इंटरनेट इन इटसेल्फ भी चाहिए, और उसके लिए हमें वेब3 की जरूरत पड़ेगी. सो आई वुड से it's rather that it's a question like, you know, अगर मैं ट्रेन में बैठा हूँ तो क्या मुझे फ्लोर अच्छी चाहिए या सीट अच्छी चाहिए? दोनों ही अच्छी चाहिए ताकि यू हैव अ गुड जर्नी.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. और आई थिंक इसका सबसे ज़्यादा सिंपल एग्ज़ाम्पल जो मेरे दिमाग में आता है, जब ये पूरा चैट जीपीटी का एक देयर वाज़ अ ब्लास्ट ऑन द इंटरनेट, ओके, चैट जीपीटी समथिंग, और कैसे उसने पूरी चीज़ को इट हैड द अटेंशन ऑफ द मासेस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम एंड इवन नाउ आई वुड से. तो उसने मेरे दिमाग में पहली चीज़ ये थी, अच्छा ये दोनों चीज़ें अगर हैं, दोनों नई टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं, दोनों को साथ में कैसे यूज़ करेंगे? तो इमेजिन क्रिप्टो करेंसी के प्राइसेस के लिए अगर एआई को यूज़ किया जाए, मतलब उसके प्रेडिक्शंस के लिए, तो एल्गोरिदम जो होगा, क्योंकि काफ़ी ज़्यादा एनालाइज़्ड होगा अपने आप में एआई होने की वज़ह से। तो इमेजिन कि वो प्रेडिक्शन कितना एक्यूरेट होगा, इन्वेस्टर्स को कितना मदद मिलेगा उसके साथ चलते-चलते। साथ ही न्यू लोग जो होंगे उनको कितनी असिस्टेंस मिलेगी एआई की वज़ह से इस पूरी चीज़ में। So of course I 100% agree with you. I think AI and Web3 goes hand in hand when we talk about the upcoming future of the internet. So okay, now we have, who do we have here? Okay, Mohammed Salman is saying hello, sir. Hello to you. Dinesh Bhavnani is saying right, said Pranav Bhai. Okay, so I think that was for the previous conversation we were having around stuff. Negative and positive are the part of every industry. 100% agreed. So Malika Arjun, oh okay, Malika Arjun, I think he clarified on his question. He's asking, crypto joined Web3, but NFT did not. I don't think that's the case, is it?
No, so the thing is like, you know, a little confused on the terminologies, और I think हमारी गलती है as the industry. हमने इतने सारे jargons बना लिए, like, you know, we always say GM and we do all these things जो outsider world को समझ नहीं आता है. But I would say like, you know, you should go back and understand what Web3 in general is. Web3 is a technology which enables you to do a lot of things. ठीक है, उसके enablement में काफी सारे tools होते हैं, and one of them is cryptocurrency token that you're talking about, and another one of them is the NFT ERC-721 that comes around, right? So Web3 is an umbrella which takes care of all these things, and they are different tools. You know, they are not speculative things. They are rather utility to utilize Web3 and do your own thing.
Yes, 100%. So I think Malika Arjun, you got the answer to your question. And so Pranav, अगर हम इन चीज़ों की बात करें कि क्योंकि अभी हम NFT और क्रिप्टो की बात कर रहे हैं, हाल में ही हमारी कंट्री ने वीडियो निकाला था पिछले साल, that was in 2022, with the whole budget thing and the regulation came in, and it was a disaster, I would say, in general language. तो आपका क्या कहना, बिकॉज यू आर सेइंग ऑल्सो कि हाँ हमारी ये जो वेब3 की इंडस्ट्री है अभी रेगुलेट भी नहीं हुई है, तो कहीं ना कहीं रेगुलेशन की जरूरत भी है, बट क्या ये जो रेगुलेशन, आई जस्ट वांट टू नो योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑन द होल रेगुलेशन पार्ट, नॉट जस्ट फोकस्ड ऑन इंडिया स्पेसिफिकली बट ऑल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन.
ऑफ कोर्स, सो लाइक ये मैं हर चीज को ना स्टोरी की तरह समझाना की कोशिश करता हूँ, एंड दिस इज अनदर वन ऑफ माय एफर्ट्स टू एक्चुअली एक्सप्लेन यू दैट इन दोस पर्टिकुलर सेंसेस, राइट. देयर वाज समथिंग नोन एज क्रिप्टोग्राफी, जो आई थिंक वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद जब इंटरनेट आया उसके थोड़े बाद क्रिप्टोग्राफी करके एक चीज है जो आई थी. एंड व्हाट इट यूज्ड टू डू इज कि आपने मेरे को कोई मैसेज भेजना है, राइट, सो इट वुड encrypt दैट, put it on the internet and then decrypt it on my particular mobile, and I could see it. The best case about it was कि आपने जो मुझे मैसेज भेजा है, which is very personal in a lot of senses, maybe yours is not, but maybe if my girlfriend sends it, it's very personal. I don't have one, I'm just letting you know. If my mom sends it, right, it's a very crazy one, right? So I don't want everybody to know what my mom is telling me. So what I would actually do in those क्राइटेरिया कि उसको इनक्रिप्ट करेंगे, उसको अपने मोबाइल पे लेंगे, उसको डिक्रिप्ट करेंगे. इट वाज अ ग्रेट टेक्नोलॉजी, बट यूएस को लगा था कि इसके थ्रू न्यूक्लियर कोड्स पास हो सकते हैं, इससे काफी सारी गलत गलत चीजें हो सकती हैं इन द वर्ल्ड, सो लेट्स जस्ट बैंड इट. सो व्हाट दे डिड इन रेगुलेटिंग क्रिप्टोग्राफी, व्हिच वाज अनदर टेक्नोलॉजिकल पैराडाइम, is कि उसको बैन कर दिया था उन्होंने. What happened after that is Russia and China understood the realms of that technology, and they started producing a good amount of applications and use cases of cryptography, which made United States and the currency and the countries who had banned cryptography to actually promote it. उसके बाद उन्होंने एक grants program launch किया United States के अंदर कि अगर आप cryptography पे कोई चीज बना रहे हो तो we will fund it, we will support it. Similarly, that's how regulation in technology is. It is so evolving. Technology is so evolving that it is very tough. A technology which is like crazy in terms of evolution, it's very tough to put in regulations on that, right? You can put regulation on the financial aspect of it, but you should never put regulation on the technological aspect of it, ताकि वो grow ही ना कर पाए उस particular देश के अंदर. And that's where there are certain countries right now which are able to make a lot of progress by giving people, that kind of visas to Web3 entrepreneurs and stuff like that. मैं अभी जापान गया था in the month of April, and वहां पे उन्होंने उनकी देश ने एक Web3 व्हाइट पेपर निकाला है, और उसमें उन्होंने बोला है कि वहां पे एक जगह शिंजुकू और शिबुया, शिंजुकू में लोग पार्टी करते हैं, और शिबुया is a place where people have different industrialization around and stuff like that. उन्होंने बोला अगर आप Web3 के एंटरप्रेन्योर हो और आपको कोई आइडिया है जिसको आपको बनाना है, तो जापान में आके बनाओ, हम सारा का सारा पेपर वर्क आपके लिए कैंसिल कर देंगे, we'll give you the entrepreneurial visa, we'll do everything, but we want this kind of technical revolution to be happening around Japan, and Japan should be the one front leading or forefronting this kind of thing that happens around. So of course it's very tough to put in regulations at technologies which are very evolving. I understand the perspective of the government कि उनको करना है वो. अगर रिटेल इसके कारण लॉस कर रहा है और उसके बाद पूरे देश को आपने उसके अंदर डाल दिया और उसके बाद उसके अंदर लॉस हो गया जिस टेक्नोलॉजी को आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते हो, तो वो लोग तो आप ही के पीछे पड़ेंगे ना. So it is important to regulate a particular financial aspect of a technology, but it should be allowed to boom bust as much as possible so that it can identify and define its true potential. So as cryptography was, अगर हम Web3 वाले लोग स्कैम कम करेंगे और काम ज्यादा करेंगे, क्रिप्टो की बातें कम करेंगे, टेक्नोलॉजी की बातें ज्यादा करेंगे, अच्छे यूज केसेस बनाएंगे और उसका यूज केस दिखाएंगे, तो गवर्नमेंट को अपने आप इसको अपनाना पड़ेगा, राइट. And that's what I think normally the people who are doing good in Web3 are actually focusing on. Regulation is coming and it will evolve, and it is very important to have one for protecting the retail people, because financialization of crypto is very, very easy. But it is our duty as people in Web3 to build such use cases which can never be ignored by regulators, and tell them the better parts of it. अभी अगर मैं देखूं तो मेरे को सबसे बड़ा और वन ऑफ द ओनली यूज केसेस ऑफ Web3 लगता है ट्रांसफर ऑफ वैल्यू. बिटकॉइन को मैं इधर से उधर बेच सकता हूं. अगर मैं आज इंडिया से यूएस में किसी को पैसे भेजना चाहता हूँ तो 3 दिन लगते हैं, 7 एंटिटीज इन्वॉल्व होते हैं और 500 तरह के ट्रांजैक्शन होते हैं। वर्सेस अगर मैं किसी को बिटकॉइन भेजूं तो उसका एड्रेस मांगू और सीधे बिटकॉइन भेज दूंगा। डज नॉट मैटर इफ ही लिव्स इन रशिया, ही लिव्स इन अमेरिका, इफ ही इज इंडियन, ही इज अमेरिकन, एक बिटकॉइन की वैल्यू एक बिटकॉइन ही होगी। So, like, regulation will come, it will evolve, it will take a lot of time. We might be a little pissed. It is the issue of regulators. Uh, it is something wrong doing by the regulators. They have to understand the perspective of retail and try to save them as much as possible. But it is the responsibility of people in Web3 to build such use cases so that Web3 cannot be ignored or doomed down by regulators.
100% Pranav, I agree with you. I think that's again the beauty of this technology, that the people itself, people in it, are the power of this technology, and this technology is the power of the people, if I have to put it like that. तो अगर ये बात लोग समझ जाएंगे तो ये काफी ही ज्यादा एफिशिएंट हो जाएगा हमारे लिए कि कैसे, मतलब आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इजी. आई एम इन दिस स्पेस, I'll convince one more person, not convince but actually kind of tell them what it is, inform them about this, and then they'll explore it on their own. This is this chain of communication, when it starts working, no, and when it gets in full pace, that will be the time I think the governments will be able to see the real potential of this entire thing. Okay, so we'll be moving on to our next question. We have another one from Malika Arjun. We'll take it, but first we'll take from Dinesh here. Dinesh Bhavnani is asking, can you suggest, how will Web3 impact the future of work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. So, like, this is, as I was telling you, future lies, you know, alpha lies in being early, right? So, right now, अगर अभी मैं चाहूँ कि मैं, like, as a Microsoft, as a company called as Microsoft, अगर मुझे किसी को कजाकिस्तान में एम्प्लॉय करना है, तो मेरे को सबसे पहले वहां की एक एंटिटी बनानी पड़ेगी, ठीक है, वहां पे जाके उसको बड़ा करना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद यहाँ से मैं वहां के लोगों को एम्प्लॉय कर पाऊंगा एंड मेक इट वर्क डिस्पाइट दिस बीइंग रिमोट। ऐसा नहीं है कि उनको मैं यूएस में बुला रहा हूँ और उनसे काम करवा रहा हूँ, डिस्पाइट दिस। सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंस्ट्रेंट इन हायरिंग ग्लोबल टैलेंट in Web3, in Web2 world right now. That gets mitigated in Web3. क्योंकि Web3 की जो protocols हैं, I'm not talking about companies. Of course, there are companies like A16Z and Unocoin that work with jurisdictions because there are businesses. But मैं protocols की अगर बात करूँ तो protocols are not ruled and governed by one organization. There could be a founding organization, but it is run by core contributors. So as a community person, आप बस उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोटोकॉल में कंट्रीब्यूट करो, मे बी टेक्नोलॉजी वाइज, मे बी एज अ इवेंजलिस्ट, as a community person, as a partnerships guy, and you will be paid by the protocol because there is no organization or company in a protocol, it's rather core contributors. So आप कजाकिस्तान में बैठे हो, आप रशिया में बैठे हो, अगर आप कोई पर्टिकुलर प्रोटोकॉल में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो तो you will be compensated for that in a lot of good ways. So the way Web3 will evolutionize the way we work is that it will bring more credible neutrality to the world. If your geography doesn't work, if you are a contributor who can code or do as much work as somebody sitting in the West, you will be compensated accordingly, first of all. And secondly, it's not important to have a degree, do a job, get into those realms, and then do stuff. If you can contribute, you can contribute. If you are interested, you can join the Discord, be involved in the community, and eventually evolve. And there are so many examples which have done that, right? Normally, the people who are right now leading the forefront of Web3 revolution are the people who are the most unconventional guys, right? वो ना कोई known college से आए, ना कोई known organization से आए. In fact, the person who started this revolution is totally alien, known as Satoshi Nakamoto. So that's what the future holds. It's credible neutrality in a lot of senses, and credible credentials in a lot of senses. Decentralized credentials in a lot of senses.
I think yes. और जब हम काम की बात करते हैं, when we talk about work as such, so I remember doing one of these AMEs with our president Sunny, and then there was one person from, I remember, I think Russia or somewhere. he mentioned this very great thing. Okay, he wanted to have like a one-on-one discussion with Sunny, so we gave him the speaker's access. He said with Bitcoin, the pay disparity will reduce rather vanish at all. मतलब आज हम देखते हैं कि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट कैसे बना, इंडियन टैलेंट को हायर करके उनका जो पे होता था यूएस के डेवलपर्स से कम होता था, तो वो एक जो डिफरेंस था उसको बैलेंस आउट करके दे आर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टुडे. एंड अगेन ऑफ कोर्स बिजनेस हैव देयर ओन स्ट्रेटजीज ऑफ रनिंग, बट हम ये देखते हैं हमेशा कि इंडियंस आर बीइंग पेड लेस व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द ग्लोबल स्केल. और बिटकॉइन या ये जो सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज है, जब ये वेब 3 पूरा फंक्शनैलिटी में आ जाएगा, उससे ये चीज काफी ज्यादा बैलेंस आउट हो जाएगी, क्योंकि फिर कोई ऐसे डिफरेंसेस नहीं रह जाएंगे कि हाँ ये यूएस का एम्प्लॉय है, इसको इतनी पैसे मिल रहा है, ये बंदा इंडिया का, इसको इतने पैसे मिल रहे हैं. तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा फायदा जो मैं देखती हूँ आने वाले समय में होगा.
It's I'm not talking about the future. ये already होता है. वही तो मैं like the thing is that right now people just understand crypto as an asset class. That's not at all true. That's not even close to being true. It's rather a lot of things more than that in a lot of ways, right? And हम already होते हुए देख रहे हैं. There is a guy known as Akshay BD जिसने super team DAO चालू किया, जिसमें अगर आप कोई पर्टिकुलर टास्क उसके अंदर पोस्टेड होते हैं सोलाना फाउंडेशन के द्वारा, अगर आप उसको पूरा कर सकते हो देन यू गेट रिवॉर्ड्स एंड व्हाट नॉट, राइट? इट डज नॉट मैटर आप कॉलेज के बच्चे हो, स्कूल के बच्चे हो, अभी 5 साल के हो या 110 साल के हो. इट डजंट मैटर. इफ यू कैन डू द वर्क, that's what's required to just get paid, and you'll be paid and compensated at what global scale in web3 defines upon. Similarly, there are a lot of people at the graph, the organization the protocol that I core contribute to, उसके अंदर भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने कोई चैप्टर चालू किया था, like Russia chapter or India chapter or something like that, or just was a community person, and he eventually became a core contributor, is one of the and now is definitely compensated well, but known for what he's doing right now in the graph protocol ecosystem in general. So there are a lot of things in general that have already started happening. Crypto या Web3 को आप एक एसेट क्लास की तरह मत देखो. इट इज रादर एक मेला है अपॉर्चुनिटीज का. उसके अंदर अगर आप टेक्निकल हो तो आप ये सब कर सकते हो, एंड यू कैन डू लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. अगर आप नॉन टेक्निकल हो, आप कम्युनिटी मैनेजर बन सकते हो टू स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग द इकोसिस्टम. मैं इसके बाद 8 बजे Web3 की दुनिया का एक शो करने जा रहा हूँ, एक पुल टुगेदर के इंसान के साथ, और वो बंदा अभी कॉलेज में, ठीक है, उसको कोई कंपनी में काम करना था. पहले तो ऐसा होता था कि आप अगर कॉलेज में हो तो आपको एक छोटी सी कंपनी जो सर्विस बेस्ड स्टफ करती है, जो यूएस के अंदर अपना पैसा एक्सपोर्ट करती है, उनसे पैसे लेती है, वो हायर कर लेगी, उसके लिए काम करो एंड यू कैन डू व्हाटएवर. बट दिस गाय, उसने पूल टुगेदर की डिस्कॉर्ड कम्युनिटी ज्वाइन करी, विच इज अ यूएस बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. मतलब वो यूएस बेस्ड नहीं, उसके फाउंडर्स यूएस बेस्ड है, ठीक है, विच वाज अ ड्रीम एंड नेवर ट्रू फॉर इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स फॉर श्योर. वहां पे उसने ज्वाइन की, उसने उसको समझा. किसी ने बोला कि यार ये जो पूल टुगेदर की वेबसाइट है इसको हमको हिंदी में कन्वर्ट करना है. उसने बोला मैं कर दूंगा. He did that. He started evangelizing, promoting Pool Together, saving in DeFi in India, and now he's one of the known people in Pool Together and is doing a lot of good things over there. So Web3 is trying, at least if not right now, it's trying to change the disparity around the world geopolitically, and I would also say that this might also be true because we are very early. So like as I said maybe 5 times, the 6th time, alpha lies in being early. So get to the realms of crypto. कोई आपको क्रिप्टो अच्छा लगता है, भले ही वो बहुत ही अजीब सा क्रिप्टो जो मतलब मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता, पीपी कॉइन है whatever, right? Just understand their community, start contributing, get into their Discord, understand why their protocol or project and is existing. Believe in that. You can always be a maximalist for that, and you will never be disappointed in a lot of senses. People who were Bitcoin maximalists back in those days right now are legends, right? Similarly, find your niche and do your work. It will definitely pay off.
100%. I think since I've been doing these AMAs, I come across people so often who have been in this space for like 10 years now. Talking about our founder himself, he's been here. I think Bitcoin came, the whole technology came, he started exploring it. And I think the core essence of exploring a new technology lies in being early to it, being an early explorer. और उससे बहुत सारे फायदे हैं जो शायद आगे दिखेंगे, मुझे भी दिखेंगे, आपको भी दिखेंगे, जो लोग ये एएमए देख रहे हैं उनको भी दिखेंगे, और जो शायद ये एएमए देख के भूल जाएंगे उनको भी दिखेंगे। तो ऐसे तो खैर बहुत सारी चीजें आगे आने वाली हैं। खैर आखिरी के 5 मिनट बचे हैं तो फटाफट कुछ क्वेश्चन हम ले लेते हैं। मल्लिका अर्जुन के 2 क्वेश्चन हैं, बट हम उसमें से एक ले रहे हैं क्योंकि और भी है। मल्लिका अर्जुन कह रहे हैं कि रिसेंटली फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर सीतारमन ने वेब 3 को ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रमोट करने के लिए कहा था। इज इट लाइक रेगुलेटिंग क्रिप्टो?
No, again, the thing is, Web3 is a technology, right? And she's talking about promoting, ऐसा होता है ना कि Google एक कंपनी है और उसकी जो सब्सिडी, उसकी जो बड़ी कंपनी है अल्फाबेट, उसका टोकन है जो नैस्डैक में, टोकन नहीं है, शेयर है जो नैस्डैक में लिस्टेड है, ठीक है? तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं गूगल को प्रमोट करूंगा, मैं यूट्यूब को प्रमोट करूंगा, उसकी जो टेक्नोलॉजी, उसकी जो सर्च इंजन है उसको प्रमोट करूंगा। तो लाइक एंड वर्सेस मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं अल्फाबेट के शेयर्स को खरीदूंगा और उनको पंप करूंगा। वो अलग अलग चीज है, दो अलग अलग चीज है। टेक्नोलॉजिकली, as I was telling, and as many people in the regulatory space also say and understand, you should understand what this technology can unlock, and what it cannot unlock, and what are the opportunities and in it for you to get into it. So definitely regulatory चीजें exist करेंगी, but क्योंकि हमने इतना बड़ा सफर तय कर लिया है, इतना सारा हजारों लाइन ऑफ कोड लिख लिया है Web3 में, I am pretty much sure that we are definitely on the brisk of creating a lot of innovation in how we interact on the internet, at least. So understand those kind of core beliefs and principles, and then you would never question as to or never be scared of any kind of regulation, because at the end, right, it's that जैसा इंटरनेट के साथ हुआ था, that eventually when it saturates, तब लोगों को समझ आता है, तब असली रेगुलेशन आता है, तब मीनिंगफुल रेगुलेशन आता है, वो आएगा। but until then, DYOR, but be curious, be involved।
100% हमेशा रिसर्च करते रहे, क्योंकि क्रिप्टो एक ऐसी, वेब 3 एक ऐसी स्पेस है जो बहुत कॉन्स्टेंटली इवॉल्व करती रहती है, एंड हम लोग रोज कुछ ना कुछ नया देखते हैं। कभी BRC20 टोकन देखेंगे, कभी कुछ और देखेंगे। सो ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज आती रहेंगी, एंड it's very important to stay updated if you want to understand the space completely and in a correct manner. So we'll quickly take the last question for today from Dinesh. He's asking, can you suggest some best Web3 projects for 2024-25 that might be upcoming? So I don't know how comfortable you are answering this question, but I leave it.
प्रॉब्लम ये होती है ना कि यार मैं प्रोजेक्ट बताऊंगा, तुम उसका टोकन देखोगे, राइट? एंड द थिंग इज, आई work for an organization, and plus I would want to believe that I would not want to financially suggest any of those things. So और पता है कि ये ना प्रोजेक्ट्स में अगर आपको बता दूं, तो फिर आपको बता दूं तो you would start financially speculating on lot of things. In my belief, अगर आपको Web3 समझना है तो आपको साइफर पंक्स को समझना चाहिए, साइफर पंक्स से बिटकॉइन को समझना चाहिए, सतोशी की चीजों, बिटकॉइन को खरीदना बेचना नहीं चाहिए, बिटकॉइन की कोर वैल्यूज को समझना चाहिए, उसका व्हाइट पेपर पढ़ना चाहिए, क्यों उसमें सेल्फ कस्टडी की बातें करी गई हैं उसको समझना चाहिए। और उसके बाद आपको इथीरियम, अगर आप टेक्निकल हो तो इथीरियम को समझना चाहिए, डीफाई के अंदर क्या क्या चीजें अनलॉक हो रही है, पोटेंशियल अनलॉक हो रहे हैं, उसको समझना चाहिए। और अगर आप डीफाई में घुसे, या अगर आपको एनएफटी अच्छा लगता है, एनएफटी इकोसिस्टम में आप घुसे, तो उसके अंदर हजारों प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जो ऑलरेडी अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, अच्छी चीजें बना रहे हैं, एंड यू वुड नॉट हैव टू आस्क दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस। अगर आपको कोर बिलीव्स और वैल्यूज समझ आएंगी तो आप अपने आप कोई ना कोई एक प्रोजेक्ट को विल पुल यू इन, एंड यू वुड totally get towards those realms. So yeah, I would say the most good up and coming projects in 24-25, to answer you and not upset you, it would be Bitcoin and Ethereum. So look into it.
100% guys. So I think, Pranav, this was one rocking session we had, and there was still a lot of questions we couldn't address because, of course, Web3 इतनी बड़ी चीज है, हम उसको 1 घंटे के टाइमलाइन में नहीं कवर कर सकते हैं. So probably जब आपको अगली बार टाइम मिलेगा, हम एक और सेशन कर सकते हैं और ज्यादा चीजें डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. But अभी के लिए, I would like to thank you so much for joining in, for sharing so many, amazing insights. Oh, Malika Arjun here is saying diplomatic answer. Yeah, of course. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing all the amazing insights. And I think the whole storytelling part, I personally loved it. And it was an amazing session. Thank you so much. And to our users, thank you guys so much for coming in, for involving yourself with this AMA and trying to learn more about it. Please keep coming and enjoying our AMAs. Do let us know how you felt about this AMA in the comment section. Also, stay tuned in and keep following Unocoin. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for inviting.